All right. So we probably won't get anyone on, but do you want me to share this to Facebook?
Mate, I don't care. You can put it wherever you want to put it.
Yeah, right. Cool. That's my...
I'm just disappointed you haven't got some mashed potato for me.
Yeah, hey. Yeah, remember that time? Those good times? Oh, yeah, that will do. Do you want that?
Either or. I think maybe, I don't know, whichever. There you go. So that streams like a link straight from, so is that Twitch over there, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
TV / Nick FTV.
Boom.
All right.
I feel like super nervous, but yeah, I'm excited. I've just got to remember to keep my mouth close.
No, you're right. All right, so we are live now, and what we can do also, is
so it's still just the two of us, yeah.
yeah.
So I want to tell you a really awkward story.
Oh, yeah. But it is like it will go on Twitch though. But tell me the story.
No. It's one not for.
Okay.
Not for streaming.
All right. So this is the stream as well. So this is.
Oh yeah.
This is the delay. So if I do this, you'll see how long it takes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty quick. So we can view the chat there.
I was really inappropriate.
That's fine. I don't care. Or there as well.
Yeah.
So
that one's like live, obviously.
Yeah. So people can talk to us whenever, and we can respond to them. But if anyone is in here, which I don't think you are, we'll get to your comments a bit later. But I'm going to start by welcoming... That's all right. Okay. All right. So welcome to the Shitvegans podcast. I'm here with Nathan Godwin. He is a photographer and vegan activist in South Australia. And I had something written down. He is a passionate creative who specialises in photography. You can find him on his social media platforms, mainly Instagram at Nathan Godwin, NathanGodwin, all one word. Nathan's photography has been seen and used by organisations all around the world, and he's currently sponsored by Nikon Australia. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'd probably say more of like, they call it a Z creator, but I guess it's in a way a sponsorship. So.
Yeah, so he's sponsored, and his work has been featured on pages like the South Australian photography page.
Yeah, South Australian tourism,
tourism,
Australian tourism pages, New Zealand tourism pages, even though I've never been to New Zealand, but some pretty worldwide huge accounts.
Yeah, awesome, cool. And all right, so first off, start my first question. What did you do today?
Do you know, I'd like to have some cool story to tell you, but I just went to work, which is not photography as a main job, but senior complaints executive at Optus. So basically just fix some problems today and then come here. So
yeah, very cool.
Pretty chill day, actually. Not a lot on the cards.
Yeah, so Nathan came around and he, excuse me, he bought me some pizza from V-Spot, the only fully vegan pizza shop in South Australia. Our mate Case runs the shop, owns the shop with his family, beautiful vegan activist family. So if you're listening, or if you end up hearing this case, shout out to V-Spot. Thanks for the pizzas. If you're watching the stream, you'll see my cat on the table, just trying to drink my water. She'll come in and out on the thing. This is Betty. All right. So in your words, how did we meet?
Well, at a cube, at an activism event. Well, after the activism event, so probably 3 years ago now, I think, maybe 2-3 years ago. Yeah. Basically just met, hung out after the cube, and then I think we just sort of really clicked and had some similar values in terms of, I guess, obviously the world of veganism and all of that sort of stuff. So it was really good to meet other, I guess, men that share that same value.
Yep. Yeah, cool, man. I remember that was it was the International Cube Day, maybe? I don't know. Might have been that.
I reckon you're right.
Afterwards, a whole bunch of us went up to 2-Bit Villains and had burgers. And then we started a group chat.
Yeah,
that's right. That group chat fell apart pretty quick.
Yeah, that did.
I mean, it lasted a little while, but
that's how Adelaide Vegan Outreach started as well. From that day, that was because obviously, after International Cube, I think it was International Cube, we went to 2-Bit Villains, as you said, big group of us, and then quite a few of us felt that the cubes, whilst they're being done every so often, weren't being done enough, or more needed to be done.
Yep.
And Adelaide Vegan Outreach was born shortly after.
Yeah, so I guess we'll get into that in a moment as well. So with for those of you who aren't familiar with what we are talking about when we say the Cube, so the Cube of Truth is a demonstration that's held by Anonymous for the Voiceless. There's all chapters all around Australia and in the world where a whole bunch of activists get together, and we hold TVs and signs, and we wear masks, and on the TVs we're showing footage of what happens to animals in slaughterhouses and in animal agriculture in order to try and have conversations with people in the public to try and change their minds or to persuade them to live a more ethical lifestyle. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, that sounds like pretty spot on. It's always an interesting thing when we're out there because you just don't know what's going to happen. And even though I haven't been to a cube for a little while myself, I still remember the good conversations with people where their eyes just open up and they realize, I need to change what I'm doing. So,
yeah, cool, man. And Adelaide Vegan Outreach was something that was born out of that as well. So, do you want to say a bit about that? What that was and how that? What we did with that?
So that's been a while, and I actually really miss what we did. I think what we did was really different and really unique. So, we basically would take tables into Rundle Mall, and we'd had a bunch of laptops that were provided by other people that were part of the group, and we would pay people $1 to watch. I can't remember the clip that was now. It's only like a minute clip.
Watch 1000eyes.com.
Watch 1000eyes.com and then have a conversation with them. So a lot of it was kids because obviously they could then go to Macca's and buy the $1 slushie or something like that. But it was really good to have those conversations, and it was a really, really good group when it started out. And then, the Adelaide City Council sort of started cracking down on us and making it really difficult for us to be able to spread the message and have these conversations. And so we tried a few different things, obviously. We sat just outside of the mall, but just sort of fell apart as time went on.
Yeah, I'd say that's about right, yeah. So fell apart because a lot of people lost interest, as well as funds were drying up, as well as like city council making it harder for us to do it. But it's a good thing that the city council made us do that. I always look back and think, well, we pushed the envelope for people who want to continue to do things like that in the future. So we've had I'm not sure if you know this, but Case and I have had sit down conversations with police officers and representatives of the city council in order to try and work out how we can get out there on the streets to do the cubes and shit like that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that we sat down and did that. They tried to get us to get like a classification rating for the footage. We were like, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to submit it to like the fucking, what is it?
The media authority?
And get them to classify it and whatnot. So they suggested we blur it. So that's when we blurred it. So it was a whole bunch of us came here, actually. We put it on the TV and we sat there and we went through the whole footage that we had, and we blurred all the parts that would be deemed too brutal to be shown to the public. And spent a lot of time doing that. What do you think your favourite part about the Adelaide Vegan Outreach was?
I think for me, it was, looking back on what it was and what we did is probably some of those early conversations we had with ourselves, like the group, the initial group, and the way that we worked together was definitely probably the biggest highlight for me. Obviously, as time went on, that fell apart.
Yeah,
those relationships sort of, differing views, different opinions, different, like people have obviously changes in their lifestyles and had to move in sort of different directions. But I think for me, it was just the people, the original like people and the way that we were together was definitely probably the biggest highlight for me. How about yourself?
Yeah, I found it pretty pretty profound as well, in the sense that, you know, having the conversations with the people, it helped us sort of, I guess, level up in the way that we interact with people in the streets and the public, and how we, you know, drive the vegan message and animal rights message. And I think doing that has actually helped me a lot in expanding my vocabulary and being able to like talk to people and be more confident with people and be more confident in my own positions and things like that. And I see a lot of other people doing the same thing, like even yourself. I don't think that you used to talk with too many people on the streets, did you?
Nah, not really. Like to some degree, I still keep to myself now, but I'm definitely open to having more conversations. And I think the other thing that I found was really good about it, like, and touching on what you said, is that I can now have better difficult conversations with people in person, because I'm used to, you know, varying different levels of aggravation from people. Like, not that I ever had really any crazy situations during any activism, whether it was Cube or Adelaide Vegan Outreach or anything else.
Yeah, like me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a few like touchy moments with some of the like chicken saves and stuff like that, like some of the security guards and stuff like that.
Oh, I forgot about those.
And the pig saves, and like, you know, that's always probably a bit difficult with the drivers and the way that they'll still creep forward. Can be a bit of a freaky situation, but I think, I definitely learnt to handle conversations a bit better in person.
Yeah, so I guess for those of you who are watching this back or listening to this now, if you're not familiar with when we refer to the chicken and pig saves, so they're what's called vigils that were run by the Save movement. If you can look them up on Google and through Facebook and things like that. The Save movement, basically the whole idea of the Save movement was to bear witness to the animals as they are trucked into the slaughterhouse on the back of the trucks. So if people sort of know the time schedules of when the trucks are coming in and out, people would stand outside with their cameras and document the faces and the sounds and just general documentation of animals as they go into the slaughterhouse.
I think for me, like, the thing that really, like, even now just sitting here thinking about it, because it's been a while since we've done a vigil.
Yeah,
that's probably the word I was looking for. But the thing that has stuck with me the whole time is especially with the chickens, like, because they're crated all on top of each other, they're just covered in feces, and it's like horrible to think that they've just traveled like 100+ kilometers potentially, and like that's the environment, or even the heat. Like, on some of those days it was like ridiculously hot, you know, and driving with like on the road and seeing the trucks even now is one of those things where it's like, why do we need to do this?
Yeah, it's crazy. You drive down, was it like Portrush Road?
Yeah.
And you see nothing but like cows, pigs and chickens being transported and carted up and down. So crazy.
Oh, it is. And like, even now, like, I try and avoid Portrush Road where I can. But when I am on it, there's always a truck, and, you know, I'll wind the window down and I'll just sort of like apologize, like, you know, to the pigs, and I'll just say, look, I'm sorry. I wish I could save you. And, you know, pigs for me are probably my favorite animal out of everything. You know, I've got them one tattooed on the inner forearm of my arm. So,
really?
Yeah. This is.
You got a pig on your inner forearm, so do I.
Oh, look at that!
What the hell?
We're pig brothers.
Wow.
Yeah. So, like, I named this one Rosie, which is the mother pig from Forever Farm.
Yeah. Right.
You know, there's something about pigs. Like, I was up at the farm last weekend. I know it's a bit of a tangent conversation, but I was up at the farm. That's what this is for. Last weekend, Forever Farm. So if you've never been, definitely head up there and like see what these animals are actually capable of and the love that they want. And I was there last weekend anyway. Finished the duties for the day, and every time I got there, I end up going back into the pig enclosure because they've usually had their food. They're like sunbaking, or they're in the straw hay, and you know, they're laying on their side, and I'll just start rubbing their bellies, and they're like dogs, man. They just their legs will just go stiff, and they'll like roll over more so that you're getting all the underside of their belly, which is what a dog does, and they're just like so smart.
Yeah.
And
they're not bacon.
They're not bacon.
They are not bacon. Oh man, yeah, I know. And Yeah, I haven't been down there for a long time, but one of my my good mate Shane, you know Shane?
Yeah, Scarmody.
Yeah, Scarmody. Yeah.
Scarmody. Yeah.
You know how he got that name or how he's
No,
gone
no.
under that pseudonym? It's Scar Modi because his name is S Carmody.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, that makes sense.
So that's how it sort of happened. Yeah, and he'd be right with me saying that, so that's cool.
Hopefully.
All right, so let's move on to we know a bit about your history when it comes to activism. All right, yeah. So how did you become vegan? What's your story there?
So the truth of my story is that I went vegan for a girl. So
Yeah, right.
Is the truth like
That's right. Yep.
it was something that like I was looking into originally, probably more of a vegetarian based diet actually. I'd lost a little bit of weight. So for those that don't know me that were watching or maybe watching later, is I used to weigh about 135 kilos, and I made a life change. I started losing that weight, lost about 20 kilos, and I still wasn't a vegan then. And I met this girl on a dating app, and she was vegan. We hung out once. You know, I'm a pretty respectful kind of guy. So I was like, well, if you're vegan, I'll eat vegan while I'm with you. And then we sort of had conversations about it. And I was just like, well, I'd been looking into vegetarianism because I felt really lethargic after like losing a bit of weight. And I was like, well, what is it? And anyway, so I just went vegan. I went like on the 24th of November, 2016. I was like, I'm going vegan. Her and we hung out for probably about 8 weeks, maybe 2 months, 3 months. Then we parted ways, and I stayed vegan because I felt within weeks of like changing my lifestyle, I just instantly had all this energy. And
Yeah, awesome.
so it was like health for me was probably the first thing. And then, you know, as time went on and you start to realize more things, you know, the way the animals are treated, and, you know, you sort of go through that angry phase of like once you're awakening from it, and then the environmental impacts that, you know, the industries have. I was like, so now that's probably how I started, was health and a girl.
Yep.
And now it's like all three of, I guess, the main things that would be the reason why I'm vegan.
Yep. Yeah, so the very similar story to me, however, it wasn't involving a girl. I watched Cowspiracy, and obviously the environmental impacts, it just astounds me. You know, the amount of animals that need to like shit, they need to drink, they need to eat, they need to piss, they need to do all this shit. And there's 74 billion animals that are killed every year. We've got 150 billion land animals on the planet at any given time. Where's all their waste going? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Where's all the land coming from to grow their food? Where's all the water coming from? You know, how are we maintaining this system? When you think about it, it's not sustainable.
No. Well, not maintaining, that's the answer.
Yeah. Yeah, the world's in decline, and we got all these people going up in arms about this climate change, you know, all this sort of stuff. The sea levels are rising, and they're pointing at gas and fossil fuels as the biggest cause, when that's only, what is it, like 13% of all greenhouse gas emissions, and animal agriculture accounts for, what is it, like all the transport sector combined. You know,
It's just crazy.
yeah, unreal. You know, cows got a fart too, and that's one of the big things. Yeah, man. So, what's next? Let's move on to your photography.
Hey.
Yeah. Well, that was always next. So, when did you first pick up a camera?
This is probably one of the questions I get asked a lot, is that when did it start for me? And the answer is I don't actually know. So I did in high school, I did film and TV, but it was more just me and my mates filming each other do stupid stuff on, you know, just in the backyards, walk around.
Like Jackass style?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Or my best mate Alex wearing a dress and pretending he's or his sister's dress actually, and would film skits like that, but that's more video. But in terms of photos, I reckon it'd be about maybe 10 years ago now that I bought my first camera. I'm actually going to look into it because I need to actually know.
Yep.
And I can't even remember what really triggered it, because it's not something that's always been there. But I remember, like, I always credit this photographer called Thomas Shahan, and he takes the most amazing photos of spiders and bugs, like these minuscule little things, and like just captures them, like their eyes and just their facial expressions and the individual hairs. I'll actually, I know people at home won't see this, but I'll show you, Nick, some photos. And anyway, so I bought a camera and a macro lens, and I started, if you just swipe across through there's some of my spider photos.
Wow. Yeah, I reckon I've seen some of these, hey?
Yeah.
They're like world-renowned sort of, wow.
Yeah, so they're jumping spiders.
Jesus.
So,
if you can see that on the...
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So that spider that's there is like probably 3 millimeters in total length.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, and like just the detail. And so that's what started it for me. And then, but I'd photograph everything. Like I'd shoot whatever was happening around me. And now, fast forward 10 years, and I'm predominantly a landscape-based photographer. So, I love good sunset. I love being in the water. I love, just being by the ocean, I guess, and exploring places. I do weddings, and I travel around Australia for a charity, taking their events, whether it's their walks or their cycling events. Yeah. So I photograph whatever anyone will pay me to photograph.
Yeah, we can, bit of a side hustle for you.
Yeah. And for me, like, I love that it's even during the current climate of the world, I've been able to travel interstate and get paid for it. Like, I'm doing what I love and being paid for it, which is probably the future for me is living 100% off photography.
Yeah. Do you reckon that's something that you'll be able to achieve in the near future?
Yeah, I do. Because I for the longest time, I've had like a lot of self-doubt about my abilities as a creator. Whenever anyone would say to me like, "Oh my God, your photos are amazing," or "You're so talented," I would always blow it off. Like, I'd always be like, "Nah, I'm not that good." Like, I'm not. Bit
of modesty.
Yeah, definitely. Or when I'm with my mates, like some of my close mates, I'll be a bit of a jerk, and I'll be a bit big-headed, and I'll throw around the cloud of like my social media accounts and all the things that happen. But for me, I'm very modest with it. But I'm now realizing that I actually am good, and I am talented, and there's something that I do that no one else or not a lot of people do, and that's why brands like Nikon have asked me to become one of their Z creators, that have asked me in the last 3 months to join them as a lecturer. So now I teach.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I haven't really broadcast this a lot, but I run workshops. I've got one next weekend, and basically for 3 hours I'll teach people how to shoot like I shoot, or get them a little bit better and how to use their camera. So, like that, like everyone always says to me when I say like I'm not that good, they're like, but these brands come to you. Like, you don't go to them.
They see your work and they say, hey, look, seems like someone who'd be really good at promoting our product and using our product to its full potential, who knows how to use our product. Yeah, cool. That's awesome.
So like, whereas a lot of people chase for it, like a lot of people, and if I chase for it more, I'm sure more will happen. And that's where I know like I can do it as a creator or an artist. And, but like, that's what people remind me is they go, you're good enough because they come to you. They've asked you to do these things. And, only within the last 3 weeks, I think I can talk about it. If anyone from Nikon is watching, and I'm not meant to talk about it, I'm sorry in advance.
Have you signed anything?
No, there's no NDA for. I have got some things that I'm not allowed to talk about. But
what things are they?
Let's just have a. In the next few weeks, they're putting together like a media PR push about me in the South Australian media.
Really?
So, yeah.
Wow, awesome,
so
man.
I got an email, and I get emails from a few different sort of groups within their group, because I'm like sort of tied to a few different areas. So like their PR side, or their social media side, then their lecturer side, and then the product side and stuff like that. And I saw this email. I was like, oh, PR opportunity. I was like, yeah, like whatever you need. And I actually haven't replied to the email, so it's a thing to do this weekend. But yeah, I've got to basically tell a bit of a story similar to what we're doing now. And they're going to push that to probably not on TV, but maybe print media or online media, and share some of my images and basically I'll talk up SA is essentially what they want me to do with some of my images. So
Yeah, wicked.
yes, and again, like something that, you know, that's a global brand that's saying, hey, we want to push you as our Nikon rep in your whole state.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you'd be like the regional manager.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome, man. So that's that's incredible. I did not know that. So it's actually given you lots of opportunities, and you managed to still hold a full-time job as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you find the time to do it all?
I don't. I struggle. Like
Yeah.
it is. I keep myself extremely busy.
Yeah.
So obviously I work 8 hours in the city. I will then generally try and chase a sunset or post like to Instagram, which is like, I'm so grateful for everything that I have on there, like the platform, the community, the people that message me, but it definitely can get overwhelming. Like I can not reply to messages for 2 days and I'll have upwards of 100 messages from people just asking all sorts of questions or replying to things. And I pride myself on replying.
Yeah.
Like, and taking the time to, if someone has a question, I will answer that question.
It's a real good way to build a following and build a solid following as well.
Yeah.
I've heard something like in the, in my internet travels, that for someone, if they want to build like an online platform or an online sort of like following or a way to use influence, it's good to have a solid core 100 followers.
Yeah, yeah.
So those 100 followers are so loyal that they will share what you have to offer. They will retweet what you have to say. They will, they're loyal to you. And if you can gain support in that sense that you've got 100 followers, just 100, then they will do, you treat them well, they'll treat you well, and you'll all grow together.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So,
I think for me, like it's definitely a thing about, I want to share the knowledge that I have. So there's a lot of people online that I find that they know things or they know places, and it's all, I'm not telling you, this is my place, this is my secret. Whereas I will openly share, because for me, it's like, I want to bring people up.
Yeah.
If people want to shoot like I shoot, I want to show them how to do that. And that's why, like, I'll run like every 3 weeks, at least at the moment, like an Insta meet. So,
Yeah, I've been to one.
Oh, yeah, you did down at Semaphore.
Yeah. That was awesome. It was actually really good.
That was a good turnout too.
I took my little camera. I've got nothing like any of these, but yeah. So, do you want to talk to me about what we've got on the table here? So for those who are watching, you'll see on the table behind us, there's a couple of Nathan's cameras that he's bought in for show and tell. For those who are listening, I guess Nathan will pick each one up and explain them. And
So I think probably my newest one. So these are all Nikon cameras. I choose them because they're the best. They actually are. No, they actually, like, in terms of what I need and what they have to do, like, they're the best. So
have you ever used the alternatives before?
I actually started shooting on Sony.
Yeah, right.
So my first 2 cameras were Sony cameras, like in terms of like my entry level. Then I upgraded to a bit better of a Sony camera.
Yep.
And then I moved to like DSLR, but I moved to Nikon, and then, I've stayed with them. And like, I only signed this year with them, but I've been on their radar, I think, for about 2 or 3 years.
Yep.
I did have, I've used a Canon camera before. Like, I've used all different cameras from like stuff like that, but I did have Canon probably about 2.5 years ago, try and make me switch.
Yep.
So they offered me some ridiculously good pricing to actually move across.
So they offer you discounts to buy their products.
Yeah.
So then you can rep them rather than sending you the products.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I won't obviously talk about the situation with my Nikon things, but like I do, like Canon basically offered me like a crazy like pricing, but I just bought the Nikon D850, which was like a $4,000 camera. Yeah. And it did everything I needed to do.
Yeah.
And so I got invited to a Canon event, and I was like, well, why am I invited? Like I shoot Nikon. The guy was like, well,
trying to poach you.
Yeah.
Bring
like,
you to the other
it
team.
literally was. It was like, anything you want, just email me. Like, I can give you a full setup. I can quote you pricing. And I was like, it was like, this was before I was really like talking to Nikon, and I was like, maybe like they've got one lens that for macro does like, so that those photos I showed you are 1:1.
Yep.
These other ones do like 5:1. So like without having to crop or add other tubes, you can get ridiculously close to these spiders. And I was like, oh, I really want that.
Yeah, those photos are fucking amazing.
Yeah, so
crazy.
And I've been mindful about not swearing because I was like,
man, swear away.
Right,
If you need to swear, swear.
No,
if I find out that you can't, then I'll just beep it out.
Okay, sweet.
I'll just go through it and beep it out. Don't bother me.
So probably this is my Nikon Z7, I think. Yeah, this is my Nikon Z7 with for those that can see it at home. It's got the 70-200 lens, which is weird to say, but this is my landscape setup.
Yep.
And like the 70-200 is more of like a zoom lens, so it's like for a landscape, a lot of people will generally shoot wide, which is how I started. I shoot as wide as I could, and then I have slowly transitioned to capturing the details of areas is what I like instead of capturing the whole scene.
So what's that one worth?
When I got it, I think it was about 4.5. So it's a bit hard to see, but you get the body, which is just this top part here.
Yep.
Was about $4,500.
Mm-hmm.
The bottom little section is the battery grip, so it just has 2 batteries, lasts a bit longer. It means I don't have to like replace the battery and stuff like that. It was $700-ish.
Yep.
And
upgrades.
Then, sorry?
Upgrades.
Yeah, upgrades. And then the lens that's there is, when it first came out, was $3,999. So, you're looking at like, what?
It's like nearly an $8,000.
No, like a $9,000.
$9,000 camera in his hand right there.
Yeah. So it's when you add up my camera bag, at any given point in time, it's about $25,000 to $30,000 worth of gear.
That's crazy. Yeah. Okay.
Which I never used to think about. Like I'd be out and about, and I go to the most randomest of places alone.
Yeah.
And I never think about it. And I had someone once, and they're like, it was dark, and they'd come for a walk, and I'd bumped into them, and they started talking to me. They're like, oh, what's in your bag, and blah, blah. How much is the stuff worth? And I was like,
I'm not going to tell you because I don't want you to mug me for it.
Yeah, well, and I was like, I'm too much of like I like to talk, and so I was like, oh well, like including the bag, because the bag costs $500, and I was like, well, yeah, probably $25,000 to $30,000 if you include like the drone, which the drone's not in the bag at the moment, and then the tripod was like
it's a Mavic Pro, right?
The Mavic 2 Pro, yeah,
cool.
But then my tripod's $1,000.
Wow,
like
man.
Yeah, so like the drone and the batteries and all that, that's $3,500, $4,000. You got 2 cameras that are thousands of dollars, lenses that are just adds up. And the person was like, oh, you ever worried about like someone mugging you? And I said, the thoughts never crossed my mind. However,
are they insured?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Yeah.
Not at the moment. I need to do it. I had them insured, but nothing ever happened. So I was like, well, I'm paying like $700 a year, but then it's like,
well, dude, my car's not insured.
Oh,
like I don't insure my car.
Isn't that illegal to drive?
No, you're covered under compulsory third party.
Okay.
It's illegal if you're unregistered for more than 30 days.
Oh.
Yeah. So if you're unregistered for more than 30 days, then you're automatically uninsured under compulsory third party.
Okay.
Which when you pay 3 months rego here in South Australia, just a bit of a tangent.
Yeah.
You pay for 4 months compulsory third party in that, and that's how that works. But if you want to get like third party foreign theft and whatnot, I don't pay for that. But if I were, that's what it would be. That's what I'd pay for. But if I were driving, my thinking about it is if I were driving for 10 years and I'm paying insurance for 10 years and I didn't like have a crash or anything, and then I do have a crash, then I've paid all of that insurance up until that point, and then I've paid an excess, however much that is over that time. But if I don't insure it and I'm driving for the same amount of time, then I'm paying just to fix their car.
Yeah.
Like $1,700 if I just go up their back,
Yeah, and that's if you're at fault.
That's if I'm at fault, yeah.
Which is a good way to think about it, because like the other thing with the cars is that if, like let's say something goes wrong with the engine, not covered.
Yeah.
So you paid all that insurance, all the premiums, and you've got me thinking now.
I'm not a financial advisor or anything like that, but that's just my thinking of it. So
let me just call up and make those changes now.
No, I mean, I did go up the back of someone a couple of months ago, and it was my fault, but I owned up to it straight away. Like I didn't play any games. I didn't say no. Blah, blah, blah. Just made sure that the guy and and the old lady was fine, and got the details, exchanged details. $1,700 all I had to pay, and because it was just like a little bump up the back, fender bender really, and I just thought, you know what, the amount of time I've been driving, that would have covered all the amount of insurance that I paid anyway. So it's like, but it just means that if I do decide to get insured, it'll cost a little bit more because I've had an accident. That's the other thing too. But yeah, back to the cameras.
Back to the camera. I'm like, now you got me thinking.
That's just my thinking about it. I mean, there could be better pros and cons, but
for me, I'm just so used to paying it. I'll probably keep paying it. Anyway, so the next camera is the Z6 II. So this is probably the newest iteration of the mirrorless cameras for Nikon. In terms of price,
what's mirrorless?
So mirrorless is basically there's no mirror in there. So with a DSLR, there's a mirror that basically, like when you're looking through the viewfinder, it will show you like from the lens goes through, shows the image up through to like the viewfinder essentially. Whereas this is no mirror. So and to take the photo in a DSLR, the mirror has to go down to then expose onto the sensor.
Yep.
Whereas this has no mirror, so it's just basically straight on to like the sensor. Essentially, is my understanding.
Okay.
I'm a little bit hopeless with the technical side of it, but I'm pretty confident that's right. But the main benefit for me for the mirrorless cameras is that like as I'm changing settings, so you'll be able to see this, as I'm changing like in video mode, as I'm changing like still got the back way from when I was in the water yesterday. So as I'm changing the settings, the scene changes, so you can see more. Yeah. So it's a 2.5 second photo. Whereas if I want to go like, 1/100, it's dark. So so when you're changing with the mirrorless, as you change settings, you see the changes on the back of the screen. And I think that's just like one of the easiest ways to learn how to take photos, because you can play around and then see essentially what the image is going to look like before you take the photo.
Yeah.
Whereas with a DSLR, you generally play around with the settings, take a photo, go, oh, okay, I need to maybe tweak this a little bit or tweak this, and then like take another image. So I find this a bit quicker. However, because I did have DSLRs before, I am now pretty confident in my ability where I can look at a scene and know what settings I need.
Yeah, cool.
So even though this camera is like, I call it like cheat mode, I already will put the camera in the settings it needs to be. Yeah. And then it's just maybe a few little tweaks, and then like my fingers have that muscle memory of like which way to go.
What to do, things. Yeah.
Although because I've been experimenting with taking photos in the water and a water housing, this camera is currently set up back to front because it has to work back to front in the water housing. Okay. I only get the back dial.
Oh,
that makes sense. So I can swap it so the back dial will do the different, like the aperture, and then it will do the shutter speed.
Yeah.
So when I'm in the water, if I want to shoot completely manual, which is what I like, then I have to like constantly switch it behind. So at the moment, it's still set to being in reverse. But yeah, this probably setup here is probably $5,000, probably.
Yeah, right.
3.5, 6, and then about $1,000. So
wow.
Yeah, about
crazy. And that's all with the cameras you've got? Like all the cameras you own, or
No. So
you got more at home?
Yeah, I've got film cameras. I've got a lot of film cameras. Some work, some don't.
Yeah, awesome.
And then in terms of like actual like DSLRs or mirrorless cameras, I have 4. So this is my newest one, which I just got today. It's basically new technology, but it's in the retro.
Yeah, I love the retro looking cameras.
So it's all like, I bought a camera recently, the Z50, because I want to start vlogging and telling more of like the behind the scenes of my life. And I bought that camera, and then they released this like 2 weeks later. And I was
wow.
And they're like, yeah, we wanted to say to you not to buy, but we couldn't because they have NDAs. And I was like, okay. And I bought this just like purely for the aesthetics. So I'll sell the other camera.
That looks awesome.
I'll have the 3, and that'll be my like filming myself camera and like my vlogging as I start doing stuff like that.
Yeah, cool.
With it, but yeah, it's a really expensive hobby.
Yeah,
really,
yeah. What was that one worth?
That's like this, just as it is.
Yeah,
about $1,700.
Okay, that's not too bad.
So this is really entry level.
Yep.
But the reason why I've like this one here, the Z6 II, is like more of a video based camera, or a people portrait camera.
Yeah.
The focusing is just way quicker. Like this is still good, this one, but this is like higher megapixels. So for my landscapes, it just gives me more room to crop and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Whereas this is smaller megapixels, bit better video, better autofocusing. So that was going to be my video camera.
Yeah.
However, the screen only tilts down, whereas this one here,
you can bring it in and
I can turn around the face, so I can see what I'm doing.
Yeah.
The other camera that I bought, it tilts underneath, so when you're holding it, you'll see it underneath. But I got this for the look.
The camera that I've got a Sony HX90V, I think it is. It's just like I bought it for like $500 a couple of years ago, and I bought it because the camera sort of flips up over, so I can sort of do the same thing, and it's good because the zoom is 30 times optical, and then the rest is digital. And I can stand, like if I'm filming people in the streets, got my lavalier on, I can stand probably like 100 meters away and still get a clear shot zoomed in, like just for a cheapish camera. So I do a lot of research on the things that I buy.
Yeah.
And because
this one that fits in your pocket, isn't it? That's how small that one is that you've got?
Yeah, it's probably about that big. I mean, it's upstairs. Probably should have brought it down before this, but cool. All right. So if someone wants to, so once you take a photo, you obviously sit and you take maybe 10 photos at a time, or however many photos or whatever. Do you fill up your SD cards pretty quick?
So in if I do time lapses, I do.
Because they shoot RAW.
So I shoot only RAW. So I don't shoot JPEG at all. I used to shoot JPEG and RAW, but then I was like, I don't do anything with the JPEG files. Yeah. So why am I even shooting it? So now I shoot RAW, which is just like the complete raw data of an image, and gives me more room to basically bring in, and edit an image to the way that I want it to look or the way that I want it to feel. Whereas a JPEG, you're sort of limited. But yeah, so generally, the landscape camera has actually the smaller memory card in it.
Yeah.
And the only time I'll fill it up is when I do like a time lapse. It could be, for a 10-second time lapse, you're looking at 240 photos. So, I can take, I think about 600 and something on the big camera before that memory card's full, but I could put the bigger memory card in there and take more. Yeah. And then the other camera, the more video one, that one's like 2,100 photos or 2,100 photos. So I don't know what I'm doing.
How big are how big are the files usually?
So the landscape camera, about 50 megs each. So quite big. So quite big. So I can make them 80 megs, which is just too big. I go completely uncompressed. Yeah. And I did that for a while, but I found that I wasn't really getting any better detail or resolution out of the image. So I went back to just normal RAW. And then the other black camera is probably like, I think it's 20 megs a photo. So it's a lot smaller sensor. But it's still like the images, when I post them to Instagram, Facebook, you couldn't tell. Like no one.
Yeah, no, they look awesome. They still look all right. I mean, you obviously lose a lot of compression. Oh no, it puts on more compression, doesn't it, to make it so it's big enough for the like your Instagram or whatever. Yeah.
So it looks when you export the photo, it's like a certain way, and like because you're looking on a phone, and your phone screen's so small, a photo, even if it was like a bit blurry or a bit noisy, if there was like grain in the image, like when I say noise, on Instagram, you're not going to notice it. Like it's going to look perfect.
No, you're right. Yeah.
Because it's like such a compressed screen view. Whereas if you were to pop it on like a 27-inch monitor and look at it, you'd be like, look at that. Like what's wrong with this? But for your phone, like it's perfect. And even to, if you were to print an image, like if you were to pop an image on the back wall and you were to use a camera that was like a 12 megapixel camera. Yeah. Yeah, sure. If you went up real close, it's gonna look a bit grainy. But if you were at the optimal viewing range, it's gonna look perfect. Yeah. Like you wouldn't really know.
Yeah, I need to get some bloody photos up in here.
I should have brought some along. I've got like a whole heap of them.
Oh man, you should have. I've got a few on my computer here. So, for those of you
of mine.
Oh no, not of yours.
I was like, oh, geez, you're well prepared.
Nah, there's a few So where are we? I'm just, for those of you listening, I'm actually using my computer at the moment to bring up some photos to show Nath. Some that I've taken that I want to get framed and whatnot, because I was taking photos for a little while there. I just got to remember where they are. Pictures to
See,
frame.
I think that's such an important thing, is that getting your photos printed,
Yeah.
irrespective, like, and I think the problem is a lot of people compare, like, to other artists. Like, see, look at that.
That's one that I just took on my little camera.
Yeah, that's good.
And that, I've actually had that printed off and given to someone as a gift. And I reckon I'm going to do it again here and stick it up on one of the walls here. But that was just a photo of a pigeon that I took down at Semaphore on the jetty. For those of you who can't see,
Yeah. We just like stare at this image and everyone's like, what's going on?
So what I can do, actually, I probably should have done this before, is
like screen share.
So on here I can add so talk us through while I do this, talk us through your process. Once you are out shooting for the night, you're done, you've got all the shots that you've taken. What do you do with them straight after that? Do you dump them onto your computer and then start editing, or talk me through that?
It like really depends. So generally, get home, I will always back up my photos. So they'll go basically from my camera straight onto my external hard drives. I need to get more in the habit of actually backing up my photos twice.
Yep.
Because at the moment they're all just backed up once, and then I back up to a second hard drive every 2 months. I need to do that a lot sooner because it's just safer. And then depending on how far I've driven or where I've come from or how I'm feeling, sometimes I'll have a quick look at a few images and then pop some on my Instagram stories.
Yep.
So I'll just do some like edits in Lightroom and see what looks good, what I feel fits the image that I've taken. And then other times though, I might not look at a set of images for a week.
Yep.
And I don't know why. Like sometimes it's just, for me, taking photos is like, it's just like the relaxation.
Yeah.
And so, I could be having like the shittest week. I could be stressed out. I could be just like, hating life. But then I go out and I take photos and I am instantly calmer. And whether it's the sand between my toes or the sound of the ocean, which sounds so corny and cliche, but it really just, and I leave feeling better. And so even though like I know I've potentially taken some really great images, I still won't look at them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like I might leave them, and especially when I do weddings or portraits, I might not look at those for a week.
Yeah.
Just because I like to just let them sit. I don't like.
So you can have say if you sit with them for a week, you then think about them here and there, and you have more ideas come up and what you can do with the content.
Yeah. And I think like it's just, I've gone through phases where I might shoot every single day, and because I've obviously worked full time, and then I gym like an hour and a bit every single day, so I don't have a lot of free time. So when I get home, I do need that break. So sometimes I'll just pop the tablet on and I'll just sit and just veg out essentially, because I'm like, I need to not think. Whereas when I'm editing, I'm thinking, and I'm like, okay, does this look good? How's this going to look? What's this going to do like on social media? What do I think of this? And it's like my brain's just like always thinking about it. And so sometimes I just go, nah, I'm not going to look.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I suppose that everyone has their own sort of things that they do. So say when you do end up looking and when you do end up editing and things like that, what program do you use?
So I use Lightroom, which is just, Lightroom and Photoshop.
Yeah.
I have played around with, there's another software that's been out for a few years and they've done some upgrades, and I paid for it last year. I've used it once and then I was just like, nah. I can't think of the name of it now. I can't think of it. Yeah, but anyway, Lightroom, just so easy. It's simple. It's fast. It does everything I need to do. And then if there's certain edits, so there's some edits where I have added things. So there's an image that comes to mind where I've added a moon because I felt like even though the image as a whole was really good, I added a moon. And
like the sky moon, not the...
Yeah. Or another one of my images that did really, really good on social media was taken of just this tree on this hill, and the moon was rising behind it. So as the moon was rising, I overexposed the moon, so it's just this big white light, and then this tree silhouetted behind the moon. In front of the moon. And I loved it. Like, it's just this incredible image. And I was like, well, there's all this dead space at the top of it. And so I actually blended in some stars from another image.
Awesome.
But like just really faint, like not like, and obviously as the night would have got on, the stars would have been there.
Yeah.
But not when the moon was where I needed it. So yes, it's like some people might look at it and go, oh, that's cheating.
Well, no, you're a content creator. You're creating your content and it's your style. It's what you are happy with. It's what it's your own creation.
Yeah.
You know, like you made this out of nothing using what you've got. Like, that's incredible. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, and it's one of those conversations I think is always there, and photographers and creatives will have this conversation, is it digital art or is it photography? And I think it's your creative interpretation of what you saw.
Yeah.
So a lot of my images, my style is changing, but for the longest period of time, my style was very light and bright and pastels. So very soft colors. I added a lot of pinks and oranges into the like different areas of the light. And it's not how the sunset looked if you were there for yourself, but it visually is how I like to see the world from like a sort of a brighter point of view with more colors, and it's just how I approach things.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so just mess around with that. So as these photos here, right? When I was taking the photos and I was using them to put on Instagram, I just take them and then I wouldn't edit them. I just chuck them straight up because I didn't know what I'm doing. Like I'm quite a basic dude, but I think for me, if you can just like get something and master that can do the talking. That's just in my sort of way. But I do commend people for being able to create their own things. And also
with that photo, like if you just with the bird, like the light is perfect. You know, like if the sky was a bit more like overcast, then it would have been like short. Do you shoot manual? Or is it just like an auto mode?
It's just an auto, yeah.
Yeah, so the bird might have been a bit duller. Like it would have been a bit darker potentially. And then like what I really love about this image is like the green on the neck.
Yeah.
Like just it contrasts really well with the water in the background.
Yeah.
And I think that's what really makes that image. Whereas if it was an overcast day, I've just actually noticed like the purple further down. Is it from my angle?
No,
it is.
There,
Yeah. Is that if it was an overcast day, you probably wouldn't have caught like the glistening of that green, and it would have been a bit darker. And so you've captured that image in essentially the perfect light. So you don't need to do anything with it.
Yeah, awesome.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense actually, yeah.
And I think just one more thing before you move on is that because you're probably shooting JPEG.
Yeah, that was just straight up.
Yeah. So JPEG applies an edit to your photo.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's the thing is that like you're letting the camera go, let's add this much color and contrast and all of this and saturation, and you can actually change the way that does it in the camera.
Yep.
Like control it. Whereas for me, because I capture all the information, like, and I get more detail from the raw file, my image will come out a bit duller and a bit flatter.
Okay, and it'll be up to you then to add your own pickups to it, your own filters.
So I just bring bits and pieces out. So I'd probably like, increase the highlights or decrease the highlights and just play around the shadows and the contrast and the saturation and all of that. And maybe change the lighting. So the camera sometimes, because when you're shooting in JPEG, it will go, what's the white balance? And sometimes it could take the wrong white balance, and then you can't fix that if you're shooting JPEG. And so your image will have this weird color cast at times.
Yeah.
For your scene, the camera's got it right, and the camera that you've got, like Sony, are really good for that sort of thing. And so you don't need to edit this, like, because it's done what it needs to do.
Yeah.
And it's edited it.
Yeah. Cool, man. Sweet. Yeah, and I took this one here. I think, not that. That one, because I really like the lines of the jetty. And, I mean, I don't know. You probably know better than me. I probably could have done a bit more up here. I didn't do anything. I just took the photo and chucked it. But I just really liked how plain and how basic it looked.
Yeah.
For those of you who are listening, you can go through and check out the video. I'll probably upload this to YouTube, but currently it's on Twitch. You'll see that I'm showing Nathan a photo that I took of a jetty down at Semaphore here in South Australia, and how it's very plain, minimal, basic lines and all that sort of stuff in my eyes. But yeah, that was
It's sometimes like that's what it's about. So sometimes we overcomplicate things, and I think, like you said, like the lines lead you through the image.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at this image, you basically start at the start of the jetty. Now my eye is at first drawn to the little rainbow sun flare that's in the bottom left.
Oh yeah, okay. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And I think because I am used to looking at photos constantly.
Yeah.
And I get questions. I sort of basically see things maybe that you might have missed at first because your eye might get drawn somewhere else.
Yep.
And then it leads along the shadow of the railing up to the end. And then you've got someone on the right-hand side of the jetty, probably fishing, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't know what they're
probably doing. Yeah, I reckon they were. Yeah.
And then you got the guy that's
and
sitting
the boat in the background.
I just noticed that you zoomed in. And then I think when you were talking about, obviously for those that are listening, you're not going to be able to understand it, so go watch the video. But Nick was talking about I could have done more with the sun. It would have altered the image. You would have needed to alter the image a lot if you'd shot exposing for the sun. Because if then the sun would have been it's blown out at the moment, and that's why it's pure white, essentially. And then on the horizon, it's pure white as the light then trickles to the bottom of the image.
Yeah.
So if you'd shot that and exposed for the sun, the jetty would have been dark, and so you would have had to bring up the light a lot.
Oh, okay.
And you wouldn't have got the shadows as much as you would have,
Yep.
or you could have just maybe if you didn't want that full on blown out bit in the right there, just angled the camera down a little bit.
Yeah,
potentially. But
right,
it's a really good image. It's nice.
Oh, cool. Thanks, mate.
Nice.
And
I'm not just saying that, by the way.
No. I know. Yeah, I know. Same deal. And this is another one that I took the same sort of image. I really like, for me, just the lines. I got the horizon from the way I thought about it was I got the horizon perfectly in the center, and then the sky is its own thing, and then the jetty is its own thing, and the water and everything. For me, I think that's one of my favorite images that I've ever taken as well.
Yeah.
And this man's just pondering life. He's probably, his wife just left him, and he's just had a big drink from the bottle, and he's
just been approached by a vegan activist, and he feels really shit about his decisions in life.
Yeah.
But you know what? I totally agree. I really like this image for what it is, and a lot of photographers will say that you need to frame your image in a certain way.
Yep.
And framing it the way that you have is what they'll say not to do.
Okay.
Yeah. So they'll generally talk against it. But I think it's for symmetry. Symmetry?
Yeah. Yep.
It works. Because you've got essentially equal parts of water on both sides. And you've got this sky that, like you said, it's sky and then the water. And then this is the sun was just a little bit above, I'm assuming, out of frame, and that's why you don't have that big whiteness in the sky, but the water, because it is on the water on that side, it's there. But I think the guy there, because he's silhouetted as well, it just looks so good.
Yeah, right, cool. So what I might do also is I might bring in I've got your page here. Here you go.
Hello.
Righto. So as where were we? We were talking about your editing and how you bring lights in. So now what I've got is I've got Nathan's page up on Instagram on the screen now. If you're listening, check out Nathan Godwin, NathanGodwin on Instagram. He's got 17,300 followers.
Yeah.
On Instagram, I remember looking, probably not even that long ago, and you had fucking 12,000 followers on there.
Yeah.
How does that grow with you? Do you get each followers every day? Do you track how many you lose and gain?
So I track on a monthly basis.
Yep.
Because
Instagram does that for you, right?
Yes and no.
Yeah. Okay.
So yes and no. So I have a folder where I take screenshots on the first of each month, and it was really easy when you're under 10,000 because it's basically like 9,212. So it's easy to do that. However, once you hit the 10,000s and then the 11,000s, and so it's just 17.3. But I think my number when I had a look last night was like 17,368.
Yep.
But yesterday being World Photography Day, I had a bit of a spike in numbers, and I'm actually going to avoid Instagram because there's quite a few responses to, I think, our podcast. So I don't want to
really?
go. Yeah, and I don't want to go because I feel bad because if I go on there, then people see I'm online.
You should just send them to the stream. You can.
Oh yeah.
Well, if you want to do that now, we can actually get to some people and you can answer their questions on here if you want to.
How do I add them from there?
Well, just link to the Twitch, twitch.tv / Nick FTV.
Yeah, let's have a look.
And then you come on here and answer questions, and I'll read them to you, and then you can respond to them. So,
I'll sit there and do that. What I'll do is I'll tell you the numbers, because it was. So Case followed me last night for the first time, so thank you, Case. I really appreciate it. And he joked about being the 13,369th.
Nice.
And I got home last night after the gym, and I had a look, and I was it goes up and down, for the most part. If I have a look at it now, like in the last week, I've had 120 new followers and I've lost 65. So 55 growth, which is fine because people will follow, and then if you don't follow them back, they don't. Yeah, they'll unfollow you. Or there could be bot accounts and stuff like that. Who knows? Yeah.
It's a bit of a game, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And I think that's probably one of the things I try to avoid is for me, it's all about capturing images that sort of I love. And I try not to play the game I'm very supportive, and and then we'll just add a link. So what is it?
www.twitch.tv / Nick FTV. You know that. We haven't had a viewer yet, so this might bring a couple in. But people, they need to be logged in to be able to ask questions. But what we can also do is, if you want to, we can go through your Instagram and respond to them that way if you like. But then, unless you want,
but they're not going to really get the response properly.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
So I'll just do here. Want to join the stream? Swipe up.
Yeah, awesome.
And then that's probably one of the benefits of having over 10,000 followers is I can now do swipe up links in my stories.
Yeah. So you need a certain amount of followers to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
So I don't know. It's just one of the things with Instagram. So that's probably you get different features at sort of different levels, and I think that's the last one. But
very cool.
I don't know if anyone joined, but maybe they will, maybe they won't.
Yeah, but we'll see them.
We'll see. I've only just done it, so.
Yeah, that's all right. Okay, so we're looking at your Instagram page still. This is your latest photo that you put up.
It's actually a series of 10.
Series of 10, okay.
Yeah, so this is probably, I did this for World Photo Days, 10 of my favourite images that we've taken so far this year.
Oh, wow.
And last year when I did it, it was really...
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love being in the water, man.
Yeah.
I actually, I was in the water yesterday. It was freezing cold. I was in there for about 45 minutes waiting for sunset, and I think I almost drowned. I started cramping.
That's not funny.
That's not funny. But I started cramping really bad. And I'm like a confident swimmer, but I freaked out a little bit and panicked, which is what you're not meant to do.
Yeah,
and, I eventually calmed down. But yeah, so this is 10 of my favorite images this year. They've been edited differently. That sunflower photo was probably it was originally a deleted image. It was one that was just I took and I was like, nah, I hate it. But it actually... on my Instagram, when it was posted originally, this is a different edit because I my new laptop, it organically got 6,000, 7,000 likes. And my average is probably 800 to 1,700, something like that. Sometimes a little.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so it fluctuates. And I'm not too concerned with the numbers. For me, it's really about...
It's just what you love and what you're doing.
Yeah, it's creating content. But yeah, this photo, the original one, I'll have a quick gander. I'll give you the full list of numbers that it got. But yeah, a throwaway image, and one that I originally I put it on my story originally, and people replied to it and loved it. Like absolutely loved it.
Wow.
And if you go back to that series of 10 photos and go to the third one, which I think is the Lighthouse.
This one, 2, 3. Yep.
Yeah. So this image here, I was talking to Case last night, and he's like, "How did you Photoshop that light?" I said, "It's not. Like there was just so much sea spray in the air that night that the beam of light is like that."
Wow.
So it's all, and like the technical specs of getting that image was, basically I had to time the shot. So the beam would flash multiple times and then go off for about 3 seconds.
Yep.
So I took a 5-second photo to get all, I counted, like I put the stopwatch on and worked out how long the beam was for, how long the pause was for. And because if I did it any longer, it would blow out the image and I wouldn't be able to recover it, even though I'm shooting raw. So like technically I timed it and set the exposure correctly, and then like you get these awesome beams of light, and you know the light in the foreground, and then what I loved most is like capturing the stars as well.
Yeah, sweet. Where was that?
That's Cape Banks, I want to say.
Yeah, right. You keep talking. I'm going to fill up our water.
Yeah. So yeah, that original sunflower seed got me like 182 followers, like 6,700 likes, and which again, it's not about the numbers, but it just went sort of went ham. Originally, I shouldn't say ham, should I? Probably. Is that a shit vegan statement to make, Nick? I said that the original photo went ham.
You can get vegan ham.
Yeah, I guess vegan ham went vegan ham. So it's just one of those things where sometimes to get the image, there's quite a few different technical aspects, and it's not always just a matter of like pointing the camera, and there's like playing around at times that has to be done to work it out. And you know that was like an amazing night. I think one of the other photos in that series of 10 is the Pisces Shipwreck. Yeah, there we go. So which is just where that is. And so depending on the tide, the ship will be more or less underwater.
Is that down the York Peninsula?
No, that's just outside of Mount Gambier.
Oh, right, okay.
So it's between like Robe and Mount Gambier. I think it's Cape, something like that. If you were to Google the Pisces Shipwreck.
Kingston southeast?
Further south, yeah.
Righto.
Yeah.
Because I'm familiar with the southeast. There's like Beachport and Robe and all those little things down there. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I like that, actually. That's cool. And that was done with your drone.
Yeah.
So the drone, the camera that's built into it, can you upgrade that? Can you change it? So it's built.
Yeah. The drone I've got
quality.
is fixed.
Yeah.
It's like a fixed camera.
Yeah.
You can get bigger drones where you can attach like DSLRs, but you're talking like $30,000 drones.
Yeah, and they'd have to have pretty good power.
Yeah, they're like huge quadcopters and like special rigs, and you essentially need 2 people to fly them.
Wow.
So I'm not making enough money from photography to warrant that. So yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, cool. So do you have a number one favorite photo that you've taken? I'm really loving these soft colors and everything like that. That would be my style if I were to do it.
Those 2 images are the exact same file.
Okay.
But the one with the clouds moving and the bit more blurred is photoshopped. I added like a blur that goes across horizontal.
Yeah.
And then what I did is I painted out the jetty. So the jetty stayed still, like completely sharp, but the clouds and the foreground was moving a little bit. And then I played around with where it was blurry. In terms of a favorite image, I have like a favorite photo that I took many, many years ago before I was like even really posting. And it's this moment where it was like an ex-girlfriend's niece, her 3rd birthday. And because I had a camera, they're like, can you take photos of the birthday? And I was like, yeah, sure. And she got her face painted. And so she didn't know what was going on, and she got her face painted. And then they showed her the photo, like her face in the mirror after getting her face painted. And I captured the moment that she realized that her face had changed. And it was like, it's like my favorite photo. Like it's literally,
nice.
it's my favorite photo, but it's like not one that will ever get shared. But in terms of a landscape photo, there's too many. Like I used to hate my images, and now there's too many. Yeah, that's like one of my early water shots. It's even the one, like the photo directly underneath it, like 3 girls on stand-up paddleboards following the dolphins.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Like there's a pot of dolphins and they'll just chase them in that beautiful light. Yeah, I don't know, it's just, I think each image, like I know all of my photos, and so I can tell you a story to every photo.
Yeah.
Like I can tell you where I was and what happened. Like, hold on, actually. The one next to the tree go down, 2. There we go.
That one.
This was the best sunset I've ever witnessed. So
is that because of the girl on the on the rail?
So that is the girl that turned me vegan.
Okay.
That's Chloe.
Yep.
No, this was this photo here was, we went for a picnic on the beach. It was like her mum's commented just there. I know that beautiful girl. Anyway, so we went for a picnic, and it was like a stormy day, and then all of a sudden it sort of cleared up, and like the glowing pink that you see is rain. And then as we had and obviously I've made the tones a bit pinker. I'm actually going to try and refine this photo and edit to my current style, but like the glowing pink is like rain that's there, and then on the horizon where the orange is, it's just more of it. And it was just like this amazing sunset. And then we had a picnic on the beach, and then like I took a few photos, and then like this lightning storm came out of nowhere. So you had this pink glowing sunset, and then you had lightning with it as well. And it's just like amazing. Whether or not, like, that's probably my favorite sunset I've ever taken.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I really love sunsets, and like, yeah, it's one of my favorite things to look at and shoot and things like that. You should edit that so your shirt's white and everything else is red.
I have got a photo somewhere. I think it's on Facebook as a profile picture where I did turn at Mario.
Yeah.
I think I'm actually wearing my other cap. Yeah, I did this like a little bit of a photo series for these headphones.
Oh, right. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So they sent you the headphones.
Yeah, and they wanted photos, which it's always a tough thing for me to when brands want.
This is studio.
They're actually really good. I've still got them. They're my favorite headphones. They feel cheap, but they're so powerful.
They're wireless Bluetooth.
Yeah, waterproof or weatherproof, like, and stuff like that. Yeah, just like, it's even like that's like my Ponga, or the dirt road down to my Ponga. But if you go like up and to the right, like the 2 girls on the kayak, go down a little bit, down. There you go. Like even this photo here. So look at it and go, oh yeah, what's this? But I look at it and go, so there's one girl that's on the front that's doing all the kayaking. And I don't know if your computer will let you zoom in. What's the girl in the back doing?
Is she on her phone?
She's on her phone. So
wow.
I don't, and she's like, when I was taking photos, I took like a series of photos, and she was actually literally just on her phone texting. And it was like this amazing orange sunset. And she was just like texting us, like, and that's like society that we live in.
Yeah. It's like, shouldn't she be doing what you're doing and taking it all in? And
but I do love that photo because it's like the silhouette of the action, and then,
Yeah, wow, that's actually quite amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's just like little things like that at times that you see, and just like, it's all like, if I look through this now and I know where I was at various points in time.
Yeah, that's the beautiful thing about Instagram. I've personally got over 1,300 archive photos from back when I first started Instagram in 2012. And, as you were saying, where you were and how your mindset was at the time. And you can look at a photo and say, I was feeling this at that point. I was feeling happy. I was feeling sad. This is when I was going through this. And this is how you can really pinpoint lots of different things. And there's a few, like something as innocent as a picture of like a burger. Like for me, I know when I took that photo, on the same topic, I know when I took that photo, I was going through something in my life.
Yeah.
But to everyone else, it's a burger.
Yeah.
But to me, it's a really, really profound time of my life because I found something out that I needed to shift my life around for and whatnot. And I get you. I feel you.
Yeah, it's like, I get messages every so often with people like, because people take photos that look similar to mine. And one more thing, just go up a little bit, go down a little bit, and see the one with the circle and the light. So this photo here is like 3 images. It's just 3 images in one.
Yep.
So I'm an ambassador for, I don't really do much for it, but I'm going to start doing it, but for this company called LoomCube. And so they have lights that I attach to my drone. And so I have 4 lights, and so that's what the 4 lights in amongst the trees are. And sort of towards the bottom left, you can see basically just to the left. Yeah, there. Like that's probably a bit of a highlight. And then I'm actually in that image poking behind a tree, I think somewhere in there. And then I took a photo like that. And then I took a second photo with my drone flying in a circle. But the way of what I love about this image is that, how do you think my drone's flying?
Who's controlling it?
No, I am. In the second image. But how do you think it's flying? Do you think it's flying like this? Because how's the circle look?
It looks stitched. Is it stitched?
No. But what I mean is it looks like the drone's flying like this.
In a circle, yeah.
But it's actually flying like this.
Right, because you're sort of looking at it from this angle up.
Yeah.
Right.
So for me, a lot of people just look at that and go, oh, maybe he added that in photo, which I did. I blended it in Photoshop. I didn't add it. It's a real thing. But it looks like it doesn't look like I'm shooting from underneath it.
Mm-hmm.
And as you scroll down, you'll see some more where I've done stuff with the drone.
Yeah, because I remember you were going through a bit of a phase of doing photos like that. That's really cool. I really like that.
Yeah, I need to
That's awesome.
do more stuff like that, and got little rows in there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's
things like this.
Yeah, whereas that you can sort of tell that, it's going around horizontally, whereas the other one looks like it's going up and down. So
and you set the camera up and you sort of set the exposure to capture the photos.
Yeah. So I'll roughly so that's probably a bit more than 20 seconds, that photo, I would say. So generally I'll work out how long the circle is spinning. So basically I just get my drone to fly in a circle around something, and then I can change the speed. And so then once I work out how fast I want it going, then I work out how long it takes for it. Oh, so if you go up a little bit quickly, down a little bit, 2 under the drone halo.
That one?
Yeah. So this is actually the photo I was talking about before, where I added in the stars. So
wow, okay. Yep.
So it's not visually I've cheated.
No, you wouldn't even know.
No.
No, you wouldn't even know.
No, and that's when I do stuff like that. That's why I like to try and make it so it's a bit more subtle. But yeah, that's the photo. I actually thought the moon was more behind the tree, but that's a photo for a future day to try and get when the moon rises in the right spot at that tree.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. So when it comes to, say, everyone who's watching and listening, you'll now find that Nathan is on the dating scene. Is that right? He's an eligible bachelor, as am I, by the way, everyone.
Thought we should hit the town together or something like that.
We're eligible bachelors. Nathan, do you find that your photography gives you more confidence when it comes to speaking with other people and talking to people who you might find attractive and who you might consider, I don't know, opening up a relationship with in the future? Do you find it helps you approach that a lot better?
No. Yeah, no. It's it's an interesting thing because I always joke that I wish I wish dating was as easy as photography. I wish for me, I know that sounds big headed, but for me, photography is relatively easy. There's days where I go out and take photos and they're absolutely
because you're in a relationship with photography.
Yeah.
When you're in a relationship, it is easy, but if you want to grow, it gets harder.
And that's where I push myself now. But I'm one of those people where when I'm out and about shooting, if I'm by myself, I've usually got headphones in, and I'm generally wearing a beanie. In winter, I'm wearing a beanie, and I've got in those studio in-ear headphones on, and so I don't. I might smile at people as they walk past me, and some people might stop, but it's generally not women, or if it is women, it's older women, which that might be some people's thing.
Yeah,
but it actually doesn't. But then I think a little bit of a tangent is that like I'm doing work on myself.
Yep.
At the moment. So I have re-entered the dating market and, having a bit of a go. But because so there's probably two little bits and pieces. So one, because I mentioned earlier, like I don't have a lot of time, like Instagram, like I'm married to my photography. So for me, managing my Instagram and replying to people is more important than a new person entering my life, because I look at it and go, what value, like you're new, you're going to take energy from me to start off with. Like I have to invest energy in you to start. And it's like, oh, do I have that energy to invest? And it's so hard. And I don't know how you find this, but it's hard at the start to know if somebody's worth the energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
And I know that I'm on the cusp of getting to where I want to get to with the photography. So it's like, do I want to take away from that? And I've spent the last probably 3 months giving my energy to someone who didn't deserve it. And so now I'm sort of like going to be a bit more protective of my energy.
Yep.
But like, look, it gets me out and about, and I'm recognized. Like I can go places and people will come up to me and they'll be like, are you Nathan Godwin photographer?
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Do people stop you and ask you that? Yeah.
Yeah. So a mate of mine that I catch up with all the time, he jokes that like we can't go anywhere without somebody recognizing you. And every time I've been with him, it has literally been someone walks up to us or someone will come and talk to me. And because I am very, like I will talk, if you talk to me or if you approach me and you ask me questions, I'll be very open and I'll talk to you. And so, you sort of build those relationships with people. But when it comes to like attractive women or women that I find attractive, I get really shy. And I have a story from yesterday where...
If you're willing to go into it, I'm willing to hear it.
Look, I'm happy to share anything, mate.
Let's do it.
I'm a bit of an open book. So yesterday I went to Grange Jetty for sunset. I thought it was going to be better than what it was. And as I pulled into the car park, because I'm a pretty awkward guy, I like to... Like I come across as extremely confident in the photography world. Like people just go, oh my God, look, this guy is a bit of a cocky, confident guy. But when it comes to like other aspects of my life, or not Optus, even like the not Optus side of my life, because that side I'm like extremely confident, but that's because I know what I'm doing. Like photography, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, yep.
Optus, I know what I'm doing.
Yep.
But human interactions at times, because I've spent so many years just taking photos by myself, I sometimes struggle. And I get awkward in social scenes, and if there's lots of people, then I'll generally sit there and be quiet. Anyway, driving to Grange yesterday, pull into the car park, there's this... I don't know if she was single, but there was a lady putting a pram into a back seat of the car, and I was going to reverse park into the car park that was sort of like opposite her, and then I did it kind of wrong as I pulled in, so she looked at me like, what are you doing? And I sort of just waved, said, oh no, don't worry, it's fine, and we smiled at each other and I kept going. I reversed into like a park a few down, and I look over and she's looking at me and smiling. I was like, oh. So I smiled back, and she went to put back stuff in the car. And I got out of the car, I put my phone and my keys on the hood, the bonnet, and then like looked up, and she was looking at me again. Smiled again at each other.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so then I go to the back seat of the car, grab out my box. It's got my like water housing, my fins, my goggles, my towel, my blankets and all that sort of stuff. And my mate had rocked up, and I said, oh, dude, like this woman over there just keeps looking over, and like we keep making eye contact and we keep smiling, and he's like, go say hello, go ask her out. And I was like, nah, like she's got her kid in the car, I can see a dog, she's like putting the pram in. I'm like, I don't know if she's single, like, and I'm like, she's doing her thing, I'm doing my thing. Anyway, so then I go to the boot of my car, and my mate, when I come back, he goes, dude, she keeps looking over. And I'm like, this is too many like indicators of interest. And did I go up to her? No.
Yep.
But I should have. And it could have been something as simple as, hey, like, I think you have a really gorgeous smile, or how's your day going? Or, hey, look, like, I don't know, but I just didn't, whereas I should have. So, yeah, anyway, if you're watching and you're at Grange,
you miss all the shots you don't take.
Yeah, but I think I've been reading this book, and I want to ask you, like, how you found things, like, obviously with your online stuff, and I know you're only newly single, and I've sort of been single a little while now. But I've been reading this. I've read this book recently called No More Mr. Nice Guy. And I realized that, like, as much as I hate the word nice guy, I have acted as a nice guy, like trying to like get women to like me through my actions, which is the wrong way of going about it. And the book's not about being a prick, or it's being more respectful to you as a person and respecting your energy and your time and like doing the things that you want to do for you and not trying to people please. And one of the things he talks about is like going out and getting rejected.
Yeah.
And like you should, like, to get over that anxiety and that fear, you just saw the question in the thing. Is actually going out and to get rejected and realize it's not as bad as it is. So even though who knows where that interaction could have gone, I should have done it. But anyway, do we want to?
Yeah, so we've got someone in who has just asked us a question. So we've got Maverick 028. So I'm guessing we'll direct this to you and then I'll add to it as well.
Yeah.
So are you disappointed with the networks not making a My Kitchen Rules or MasterChef, not making but a vegan version? Oh, so I'm gonna guess that. Are you disappointed that they haven't made a vegan version of the TV shows, the cooking shows? What do you think?
I don't watch TV.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be good if they did. I think it'd be good if I understand the context of those series.
Yeah.
And I think it would be good because realistically they can make the same things they're making. You know, apart from like a steak probably, but there's different, like, you know, cauliflower steak or something like that. So I think it would be good, but I don't personally care enough because I don't watch TV.
Yeah.
I think for the movement as a whole, or just like showing people that veganism is not just boring food.
It's not just grass.
Yeah. How about yourself?
So I've been watching a bit of TV lately because, I don't know, I've just been finding that I'm just killing time in unhealthy ways these days. And I was watching a little bit of the MasterChef series that was just on because one of my friends was actually a contestant on there.
Oh.
I play baseball with him, Aaron. So I was watching him get through and do all that sort of stuff. I mean, it for me, it was a bit hard to watch because it's hard seeing them use animals and animal products and not knowing or not being consciously aware of how those products, you know, land on the shelves, and then using their bodies to make these meals for people, and then people eating the meals and they're you know, obviously dead animals and things like that. It would be good if there was a vegan version, but I think that'll come in time. Yeah. Like we're not quite there yet. I think we're just at the point where some contestants are vegan. I think I heard of a story a couple of years ago, or might have even been last year or the year before, where I think it was like Japan or somewhere in one of the Asian countries, there was a vegan contestant, and they asked her to cook a non-vegan meal. So she refused and left the show. And that's very fair. I would have done exactly the same. You know, if they can't respect the ethical standards in which you want to uphold, then I would have done exactly the same. Not just to make the statement or the stand, but because for me, it's not about like I'd say for her as well. It's not. Probably wouldn't have been about the TV show or appearing on TV. It would have been about, no, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to compromise my ethics to go, you know, because I'm on TV, you know.
Yeah, and I'd do the same. I'd be like, what are you talking about? Why do I have to like go against my ethics for this? I'd straight up just be like, stuff this, like, see you later.
Yeah.
For me, and I think that's even, like there's nothing that would make me want to go against those, like my values. I'm very firm on my values. So yeah. But I don't know, haven't they had, and maybe I saw this somewhere or someone mentioned it to me, because obviously being a vegan, everybody has to remind you that you're a vegan. I don't know if you get that in your workplace, but I get it like at least once a week.
The funny thing, it's how do you know when someone's a vegan? When people say that, so I say that in order to, I guess, mock that question being asked of us, how do you know when someone's vegan? Don't worry, someone else will tell you.
Yeah, yeah. And it's exactly it. Like so many people go, oh, Nathan's vegan. Nathan's vegan. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. Like that's not like, yes, I'm vegan, but that's not who I am. But I think from memory, didn't they do like at least maybe one challenge that was plant-based maybe?
I think each season they do something like to honour veganism and have, you know, bring it into the show somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah, Maverick, it's the personal journey of them. Yeah, so I guess you're right. If you're still here, mate, are you vegan yourself? We'll wait for your response.
Whilst hopefully Maverick's still hanging around and going to respond, talking about like the whole like people tell you they're vegan. So you know, in the last like 2 weeks, I've lost a fair bit of weight, and people commenting on it like at work because I'm being able to fit into shirts that I've had for like a couple of years that haven't fit, and my boss's boss is sort of a big media, and you know, asked a lot of questions, and so he's like, "Oh, you lost weight." He's like, "What are you eating meat again?"
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, I'm eating. Yeah, that's exactly what I've done to lose weight. Like, it's like the opposite. But I'm actually looking forward to, because he's a really fit guy. Like, he's really fit, like looks fit.
Yep.
And does CrossFit, and he doesn't know this yet, but because I'm going to do this whole 8-week challenge thing, my aim is to essentially try CrossFit once I've finished this challenge and challenge him as a vegan versus him.
So what exactly is CrossFit? It's just like a very intense workout. Is that what it is?
I've never done it. So I think from what I've seen, it's like circuits. So there's all different, like, you know,
the ropes, the battle ropes, and like
the battle ropes, maybe the climbing, maybe like you might do shoulder presses with like a barbells or weights. You might do some kettlebell swings.
Yep.
I actually don't know.
Okay.
But there's like CrossFit Olympics and stuff like that. And he actually showed me a video the other day where this woman, I can't think of her name now, Tia, and she won like the CrossFit Games, and she did a YouTube video that said, "I've gone vegan," but really it was just vegan for a day. And she had this Adelaide-based CrossFitter who's
yep, Maverick is, sorry, yep, go ahead.
Had this like Adelaide-based really strong best CrossFitter that's vegan, and he basically cooked meals for the day. So it was like a clickbait title.
Yep.
But like they said themselves, like they feel so much better. Like they felt so much better for that day. But then they were only going to do it for one day. It's like, well, why not just?
Yeah. See, one thing for me, right? My gripe is when people use the term vegan, in place of plant-based. So I think maybe we've even spoken about this before. You can't say I'm going vegan for a day, because it's not something that you just turn for a day. It's a philosophy that is ingrained within you. It's a shift in your mindset that it's a catalyst. You know?
Yeah.
It's a change. You know, I go plant-based for a day, or don't eat animals for a day, or don't eat animal products for a day. You know, because the inherent speciesism is still in you, right? It's like someone who is a racist turning around and saying, all right, I'm not going to be racist for a day. You know, It's like, what, tomorrow you're going to go back to being racist? Like that's my sort of the way I put that forward. So
do you know the one that shits me? I'm mostly vegan.
Mostly vegan.
And so my response lately, because I've just been a bit like, I guess like the title of the podcast is called A Shit Vegan.
Yeah.
My response to that when people go, "Oh, I'm mostly vegan," is I'm mostly not racist.
Yeah, yeah. I'm mostly anti-racist.
Just so everyone knows that's listening, I'm not racist. I don't feel I am. But like I do that because it's sort of, people then get shocked and they're like, "What?
Yeah.
What? You can't be mostly not what?"
It's either you are or you aren't. It's black and white.
So it's same with veganism. Like,
it's exactly the same.
You're either vegan or you're not. Like otherwise you'd be plant-based for that period of time.
Yep.
You know, you can't say, like, I know people that say they're vegan, but then they'll go buy leather shoes or leather belts or leather wallets, and they don't see a problem with that. And or they might talk about veganism on different social media platforms, but then will happily, a couple of days later, share things that are clearly not vegan. And it's like,
Yeah.
where's your moral compass lie? Like, don't preach. Like, yeah, I get, like, if you want to preach about it when you're new and you want to share like the hypocrisy of the world, but then don't at the same time be a hypocrite yourself and then share something a couple of days later. It's different. Maverick's got another question.
Yeah, so people identify as anything for a small period of time. I'm not sure if you finished that question, man. So people identify as anything for a small period of time. I'm going to assume that pretty much just commenting on what we were saying, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, I'm of the position that you can't just say that you've gone vegan for a day, because I'm also of the position that someone just can't say I'm not racist for a day. When we put them in the terms of the certain isms that that we place on society. So obviously there's racism, sexism, heterosexism, anti-Semitism, all these different isms. There's also the one that's been coined in the last few years called speciesism, where humans or the human species discriminates against other species. And I see that as no different to any of the current isms that are out there. And when I argue for veganism, I argue from that point. And I place all the isms on the same level: speciesism, racism, sexism, all these isms. And when we do that, it makes it a lot easier for us to lay our argument out and for people to actually get on board with. But one of the things I find I come up against a lot is people, when I say in the last 24 hours, for instance, there has been a good, kind-hearted soul who I think has become a bit lost. I'm not going to mention any names, who's come out and they said that they're not vegan anymore.
Oh.
And this is someone who I know that's done like lockdowns in like factory farms and has actually gone in and rescued animals and things like that. And I think they've just lost their dog and their mum, and is experiencing a lot of grief. And when I saw that, I came hard on social media and I said, look, mate, what's going on? You need to confirm what it is you're saying. You need to clarify your position right now, because if you've gone back to abusing animals, knowing what it is that you're doing, there's no justification for that. It doesn't matter how low you're feeling. You cannot be doing that, because if we were to not hold the same position against racism, then we would hold a double standard.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's how I argue for it and move forward with it. But
did they reply?
There was a few replies, but they weren't sort of on that level.
Yeah, because that's essentially saying that I'm feeling so shit with the way my life is, which is a valid feeling. Like, obviously, if you lost your dog and you lost your mum, like, it's
we're not ever going to take that away from you. Yeah,
but that doesn't justify then, like, inadvertently torturing animals or funding. Yeah, I'm like, that's actually, like, how can you justify that?
Yeah, that's right. And people were coming back at me and saying that I'm bullying him and things like that. I was trying to use they them to
just cut that out for the podcast.
I was trying to use the they them to but yeah, I had a lot of people sort of coming in and defending him from the things that I was saying. But the thing is, I wasn't attacking him. I was trying to get him to clarify his position, because what he's revealed to us basically has told us that he is now back to abusing animals, and there's no justification from that. Obviously arguing from the anti-speciesist reasoning, and people are calling me a bully. And I'm like, no. If what he's saying is true, he's the one who's the literal bully by forcing the knives into the throats of these animals by proxy, by paying for the products. And they just couldn't handle it. They couldn't take it. They couldn't hear it. And they're trying to say that it's people like you, Nick, that pushed people away. I'm like, well, if I'm arguing for veganism, I want the movement to be what it is.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I don't want, like, say if
So
like-
they're obviously prominent in the community in a way.
yeah,
So
quite
this
prominent.
is a person
Yeah.
that has probably influenced a number of people.
Yeah, and now they're
then-
going to be looking at him and being like, "What is going on here?"
Yeah. So if they're not vegan, well,
Yeah,
and if that, why do I need to eat? Or maybe they might then go, well, do you know what? I've had a really crap week at work. I've lost my job. The COVID situation, whatever. And maybe cut that word out so it doesn't get flagged.
Oh
But,
yeah. No.
Anyway, but they might look at the current situation and go, oh, that's going to just, like, this person's done it and I look up to them. And so, like, it's okay for them. So then it's okay for me, but it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually really frustrating.
Do you find your beard gets caught in this?
Yeah, when I get too close, that's why I'm like, I think as this has gone on, I've gotten better at talking into the mics. There's definitely been a few times where I've been like,
do you feel more sort of comfortable now? You feel like it's just like a normal conversation, isn't it?
Yeah, I was actually thinking probably about, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes ago, maybe, like, I was like, we've been riffing for a while now.
Yeah, we've been going an hour 40.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
This is fine.
yeah, I mean, I'm happy to just keep going for as long as you want to, right?
Yeah, man.
One of the things I wanted to ask you was about you two. Maverick, have a good night, my friend. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. And yeah, feel free to share this around. I want to get more people on eventually. So one of the things I was going to ask you about the photography was, before we went on a big tangent, which is okay. That's what I wanted to happen.
I was just seeing if anyone messaged, but no one has. So I don't think anyone's joined.
We haven't had anyone come through yet, which is okay. Like, I don't mind. So, as a beginner, what would be the best way to get started?
Yeah. So
for people who want to do photography.
So when I did my first Nikon workshop, that was pretty much all beginners. Like, people there's probably a few that actually weren't beginners. Sorry. And when I do my Insta meets, it's like a lot of beginners, and then sort of, as people come more and more, they're a little bit more competent. And I think the best way to get started is to go play. So I call it play. Like, I say, go out and photograph anything and everything. Like, just mess around, have fun. You might have been drawn to photography because you saw my images and you're like, oh my God, these are amazing. I want to go capture images like this, and like Nathan does. And then you go buy a camera and you take a few photos and you go, oh, I can't do it. Like, it's just because it takes.
You can't just be as good as you are without putting the practice and the time.
Yeah, because it's like editing as well. Like,
it's a skill. You learn and you get better as you go. Yeah.
Yeah, like, and if I look at my images from a year ago to now, like, I'm in love with my images more now because of my editing flow, like the way I make my images look and when I capture them.
Yeah.
I think for a beginner, like, it's just about getting out and just experimenting. So just photograph everything. Get like down real low if you're going to take like sunset photos of the beach, and just see how things look from down low. Then if you can get up high and just change the angle, change the shutter speed, just mess about, photograph anything. Like, like your pigeon. Like, I can be honest with you and say, like, if I was there, that's not what I would have shot. Like, because I'd go there and I'd be like, well, what's going to look the best for Instagram? But then I look at your image as well and I go, well, if you cropped it for Instagram, that would actually be a cool Instagram photo too. Like, even though it's fine the way it is. But I look at, when it comes to posting anyway, and I've gone a bit off topic, but when it comes to posting, like, you want things a certain way, like an image that takes up as much space. But anyway, for a beginner, I would definitely say just experimenting, and then
use your smartphone.
Yeah, like, even use your phone. Like, just because phones are like incredible, and like, even like some of the newer phones have modes where you can shoot and control all the settings. And the other thing I'd suggest is, when you're like, if you're on Instagram or on Facebook and you see somebody that you like, message them and ask them questions, or ask if they'll be a mentor, or if they'll shoot with you. But it's just like, a bit of fun.
The cat's going me on the side here.
See, I was going to pat her earlier, but I was like, I don't know. If she'll actually.
To other people, she's a bit of a bitch, but to me, she's my best friend. I can do whatever I want. I can annoy her. I can get up in her grill, and I know her tics. I know how hard she bites, and I know how sharp her teeth are, and how sharp her claws are.
It's a bit of play. It's a bit of fun.
She's just going at me. Yeah, cool.
But yeah, I think and just like message different photographers, and depending on where you are, like if people do like meetups or find photography meetup groups on Facebook and go out and shoot and spend time with other people, because you may not learn anything. You may go out and you may go, oh, this is not for me, or you may not like it. But what you'll do is you'll meet people and you'll learn from them. And as you engage with them on social media, whatever platform it is that you use, you will pick up things or you'll make new friends. And so one of the things that I love that I've had people tell me over the years is that they have made lifelong friends with people that they've met at my meets that have changed the way that they shoot. So they might have originally started shooting landscapes, but now especially the group that I'm referencing now, they shoot a lot of light painting stuff. So with tubes and like strobes and all different sorts of things, and like that's what they love. And their sort of group, their smaller group that they sort of a part of, a lot of them met at like one of my meets. And so they've said to me, like a few of them have said like, we're really grateful for what you've done. Because there are like in Adelaide, there are people that do different meetups and group sessions and stuff like that, but not to the same, I guess, level that I'd like, or the volume that I do. So I was at one point in time, I was doing them every 2 weeks in different parts of SA and stuff like that, and just getting people together. And sometimes, there might be Lake Bonnie last weekend was 2 people came, which is fine. Because if no one comes, I'm going to be shooting still, and so I'm happy. And I think the most I had, it was probably one of the Lake Bonnie ones as well. I had, I think, 20-something people rock up.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, I've had a few where, like, I think even the semaphore one that you came to was probably about 12 or 15 people.
Yeah, there's a few people there, yeah.
Yeah. And then, but like, you might see other people that are just walking around with their cameras that didn't know about it, and then they sort of will, like...
Let's join in.
Yeah. And then, like, just learning and... just reminds me, I've had someone message me, ask me to do something on Instagram, and I forgot to check how to do it, so I'll get on top of that tomorrow.
Yeah, that's the thing. Do you keep a calendar of your time, or do you just remember?
I need to keep a calendar.
Yeah, I've found for me, and for everyone listening, one tip from me at least is keep a calendar. Yeah. If your friends want to message you about and say you want to come out, have some beers, you want to come hang out, you want to do this, do that, put it in your calendar. Put it in your calendar. That way you can always refer to it and see if you're free. I learned how to do that probably a year and a half ago when me and my then girlfriend broke up, because she was my calendar. Like I used to use her as my, are we free this time, or am I free, or whatever? And I would double book, and I'd have to let some person down because I was busy doing something else. So keep a calendar, people.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
And, if you've got dates coming up, you can say, oh, I'm not free this night, not free this night.
Whereas I just seem to just put myself into all these situations. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll do this. And I'm like, I've got something else. But like even tomorrow, my schedule tomorrow from memory is meet up to shoot some waterfalls at Morialta tomorrow morning with a few mates. I've sort of tentatively agreed, but I guess depending on what time I end up going to bed would probably mean I'll sleep in actually. I want to try and fit the gym in the morning, I think.
Yep.
It's going to be wet tomorrow, so I probably won't shoot tomorrow afternoon. But then the march.
Oh, yeah. What time's that?
12 at Rundle Park.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And then I've got to go sign some paperwork for my car, and then like I'll do something in the afternoon somewhere. But I have a feeling I actually have something with someone that I've agreed to do. Not like a date, but just something that I've agreed to do, but I can't remember what it is for the life of me. So I know tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow I'll get a message being like, hey, are we still catching up? Or are we still doing this? And I'll be like, yes, we are.
Well, why don't you
get a calendar?
But send them a message tonight. Say, hey, I forgot if I booked you.
No, but I don't know who it is.
Oh,
it's
right.
It's just lingering in the back of my head. Yeah.
Oh,
so like,
damn.
Sunday's fine. Sunday's the farm, so I'll be at the farm all day.
Yeah. Okay.
And then sunset, and so definitely calendar.
There's Darren and Haley Forever Farm. Do they they allow people to camp there, right? Do they?
Yeah, so you can do the farm stays. I don't know enough about them, so I don't know where you stay and how it works, but you can definitely stay up there and then help out. They've got their open day coming up, hopefully.
Yeah.
Depending on the COVIDs.
That's fine. No, you can say the word, I think.
Yeah, I know.
It's the other words.
Oh, okay. But sometimes they just like, they put the triggers and the warnings and stuff like that. But depending on that, the circumstances will determine if they can do it, even though it's like a huge property, because there's a house on it, it's classed as a residential property. And as of midnight tonight, that's lifted to 20 people.
Yeah, no, it is. Yep.
So
and that's good because for my party, I probably won't have 20 people here. So I was hoping they'd be lifted at least by that time because I'm having a birthday party next month in this house, and you don't know where I live, people. But if you
follow me, and I'll show you.
if you're lucky enough, I'll invite you to my party. So if anyone's watching or listening, the first person to ask for an invite gets an invite. Yeah.
There you go. But just quickly, because I know this is like, you sort of brought me on to talk about me and my life and stuff like that, but I guess I want to bring it back to, because you asked obviously how I found like dating with like my online account and stuff like that, which at times it does sort of help. But I guess for you though, because I'm quite curious, because you're pretty prominent in our scene, like in the vegan scene, and probably Adelaide, and probably even had a bit of a reach that's gone further than Adelaide, I'd imagine. How have you found, does that negatively impact you at all with vegans, or positively?
Like approaching new vegans and like say what, to ask them out on a date or something?
Yeah, like.
Oh, well, I mean, I haven't really been in a situation where I've invited any vegans out or asked any vegans out, at least at this point. If I'm using the dating apps, then I'm like, obviously I've got that I'm vegan on my profile. And when it comes to the point where I'm sharing my socials with them, I've got a lot, like they'll see my Instagram and they'll see, a whole bunch of things. And I've had a few people say like, I'm not vegan. Is that going to be an issue? I'm like, well, it's not a necessary piece of criteria if I'm not looking at taking it any further.
Yeah.
So it's necessary to be in a relationship with me, but it's not necessary to say
just hook up
or hang out with, or get to know.
Oh, she's fine. They're all.
Oh yeah, okay, fair enough. But yeah, I've had the person I was seeing, my ex, when we first started going out, she was telling me that she was intimidated by me.
Oh.
In a good way, like intimidate, because I was very outspoken and very loud with my opinions and my voice and things like that. And she found it quite intimidating to, to get involved with. But it worked out. We had a solid run, and things could have been, on my part, could have been done a lot differently. Could have been done a lot better. But things move on, and
that's it.
Now I got to pick myself up and dust myself off and get all my shit sorted.
I think you're pretty busy as well.
I've been pretty busy. I don't know. I had the last 2 weeks off of work, but I work full time as well. So, in a department.
I guess with baseball.
Yeah, because I play baseball as well. Baseball, work. I actually deleted the dating app this morning because reasons.
Okay.
I'll tell you after.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's I don't find it. If anything, I find being, I guess, using my voice a lot more, it's helped me be more confident.
Yeah. And
be more upfront with the things that I'm looking for and that I want. Because I don't like to beat around the bush, because the apps are meant for efficiency, right?
Yeah.
It's like my idea is to get in, get a number, and get out.
Yeah.
Use the app, get the number, get out. So that way, if I delete it or whatever, unmatch or so on, I've got a number.
Yeah.
So I can text, be like, hey, you out here, or
that's what I'm doing wrong then.
But that's what I do. Like I get in there, get a number, and I get out. Like I don't like to have big, long conversations. The way, like, this is, I don't know. I know we're supposed to be talking about Nath, but on this you might find this interesting to hear. The way I view the apps and the way I use the apps, I, like, say if I get a match or whatever, they'll sit in my match pile for a while, and I'll think about it, pick it up, think about it, and then I'll say, oh yeah, she's cute. All right, I'll send her a message. And because I know I've seen how women and their Tinder profiles operate, right? So say if she's, attractive, let's just say if we're rating an 8 to 10. Sorry.
Short interruption.
If you say like an 8 to 10 on the scale, then you look. I've had some of them around and spoke to them and whatnot, and I said, "Hey, let me see your Tinder. Let me see how it works for you, just to get that insight, to gain that insight." And they're sitting there like, how you load up Tinder and you'll get someone who likes you, and then there'll be that number at the bottom.
And
it'll tell you, like, let's say there's like 40 odd people that like you or whatever. I, like, within minutes, an attractive girl over 100, like 99 plus, within minutes. And obviously that is right. If it's within minutes at 99 plus, it's obviously exponentially growing. That means that there's so much, the market is saturated full of men who just want to, do what they want to do with women, right? So I asked people on there, what's the most common opening line that you get? And some of them, they respond and they say this and that, this, that. And I say, do you get a lot of people just saying, hey, with 2 Ys? And like, yep, all the time. I'm like, okay, so that means if I were to try and get at least a response out of you, I need to say something different. I need to be really out there. And I'll say just random things, like I'll ask them a philosophical question, or I'll look at their profile and tailor a question about their profile. If they say, I don't know, something like, like a really love dad jokes, and I'll just say a really corny dad joke, just tailored to them. And so you got to stand out. You got to make something different.
See, I will generally. See, I'm on Bumble and Tinder. I like Bumble because it means the girl has to message
and
first.
she has to say, hey.
Yeah, she does the hey.
If they did that to me on Bumble, I respond saying, that's not good enough. See you later. Like, I'm just straight up. Like,
and then do you unmatch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mostly I do. Like, unless, I see, all right, could shoot my shot, whatever. But I just, nah.
There's one I think I just lost in her opening message last night, which it probably is gone now, was just the love heart eyes. So no thought, no. Oh no, it's still there. I've got conversation expires in 1 minute.
Oh, quickly send something. Just put a dot.
I'll do hey.
How many Ys?
2.
2, yeah. Right.
I can't remember what she looks like, but she lives too far away, Mount Pleasant. Anyway, how lucky is that for a conversation? But I will generally ask, do you know what? Because I delete, just a little bit off topic. I delete Tinder and Bumble like at least once or twice a week, and then I restart again. Yeah. And I matched today with a girl on Bumble, and like obviously she has to message first, and literally it's just like, hiya, how are you? I'm like, hey, I'm doing good. How are you? And I'm like, we've matched a few times. I'll try not to delete this app this time.
I'm just gonna say something. My housemate, he goes around the front and in the back to come and smoke his cigarettes, but he can walk straight through. I might get him next time. It doesn't matter if he walks straight through. Never mind.
So that's
I just noticed.
I
can hear him.
But yeah, like it's just like, well, hold on, we've matched. Like I reckon this girl here, we've matched like 3 or 4 times over the last like probably 8 months of me.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
yeah,
and they don't remember. Whereas
those.
I remember. But I remember like the most every one of my photos.
Yeah.
But anyway, like my opening questions generally will be, what are you passionate about? Because I like to know what someone's passionate about. Like my passions are obviously veganism, animals, and photography.
Yep.
So I want to know what you're passionate about.
Good question. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, because it's a bit of a thoughtful question. And then generally like a bit of a more like not lighthearted, but just a bit of an easier question is just, what was your highlight of the week? Or what's been your highlight of this year or something like that? Just because then again, like it's like you said, like
matching with you.
Yeah, and women do get inundated with messages, and I think just to go like off what you said, I don't even think it's like the 8s and the 10s. Like if you were to number them, I think it's probably even as far as like if you were to number them, like even lower.
Yeah,
like they would get.
You're absolutely right. Yeah,
and because I think like I don't know about you, but I'm very meticulous when I swipe. I'm actually, because I'm looking and I'll read the profile.
I scrutinize.
Yeah, and I like, I've definitely had many instances where, you got fishing in your bio, see you later.
Yeah.
You have a photo of you fishing in one of your photos, see you later. Yeah. Like, I'm not even interested in trying to have that conversation with you that the fish feels that pain. Like, what are you, like, because I see it every now and again, like women go, if you've got your gym shirt off, you're fishing, swipe left. Yeah. It's like, but you're doing it too. So I'm very very meticulous now, and so I don't get a great deal of matches, and maybe my photos are a bit too hipster, and I always think my photos are like, because I take my own photos, obviously being a photographer, or I use some that people take of me, and I always think like, are they like too high quality? Because I've seen the men that women are swiping on, like from friends at work that are single, and I look at some of these men's photos and they're like, photos like this where they're like scrunched up. It's just like, what on earth are you doing? And like the girl's photo I showed you earlier, the girl we're talking about, and like the first photo, it was a decent photo, it's nice and clear, but the other couple were blurry and just weird photos, but she would still be inundated with messages. Yeah. Because she's obviously an attractive woman. But it's an interesting.
So the dating apps, it takes us away from like actually going out and mingling.
Yeah.
And all that sort of shit.
I think it also like it's at the moment for me, like I'm probably going to delete the apps again and then I'll reinstall them because I get too shy in person. But I find that there's too much choice for people. So even for men, like, if you're
it's like Netflix of humans.
Yeah. Like you can be talking to a girl and they'll just drop off. And it can be the other way around. Like I drop off at times. I might be talking to a girl and then another girl comes along and then I just sort of stop replying the other one, slowly like fade off, which I need to be more open about. But there's just so much options at our fingertips and you don't really build that real connection, I think. Is that how I feel about it? Yeah. That's where I want to push myself and actually approach people in person. Yeah. And just try and get over that fear. But I've, that's where I'm working on, like my self-image issues that I'm dealing with at the moment. Slowly.
Maybe we should go and hit the town one night. Do you drink alcohol?
Not really.
Not really. Yeah. I don't drink much. Like I'll drink here and there if I'm going out, have a couple of beers or whatever. But other than that. But we can go out, hit the town, get on the waters, and see if we can.
Let's even just go out for a couple of drinks and just mingle with people.
Yeah, I'm keen for that. I'd be happy to do that.
Let's take this podcast on the road.
Yeah, hey, well, dude, like that's one of the ideas for people who are listening. Like I actually, my way of getting around is I get around in a van, and my van's got like a couch in it that converts into a bed, and it's got like a fold-up table. And it's got lights in there too, so I can actually take the show on the road, and I've got a battery that I can have the podcast going through as well. So I might take it out sometimes and, see, like clamp these to the desk and we can sit in there and we can do that. It'd make a really good photo. Put my laptop in there and set up the program and shit like that. One other thing that I was, I guess, I'll say this before we'll close it up.
Yeah, right.
As I was saying prior, the criteria that I use to select people on Tinder, right, is I I don't know, you might think that might be a little bit too much thought into this, but the way I do it is there's 3 different types. So there's someone who I would just consider hooking up with, someone who I would consider, spending some time with, getting to know, making connections, networking or whatever, and someone who I would consider, working on and taking things further.
Yeah.
That one doesn't happen often, if anything at all. But the way I determine that is when I get the match or whatever, I look at them, I look at the profile, I find out whatever I can about them, and I determine based on just all that I'm working with.
Yeah.
If I were to be standing next to that person and I were to leave my body and look at us from afar and determine whether we look good together, that's how they fall into one of those 3 categories.
Oh wow, that's deep.
And that's how just by looking at the person next to me, and if I think that we look good together, I know it might be shallow but also deep at the same time.
Yeah.
Just the thinking part of it.
You're not just factoring in the looks there though. You're factoring in what you know about the person based off what you've seen so far. So that's where, like I said, it's a bit deep because you're trying to give that holistic view, and sure, the person is more than what's in their bio and
that's
what
exactly
they've
right.
said to you.
And you get to know them by talking to them. Go in, excuse me. You go in and get their number and shit like that. So that's how I do it. Is I go in, I say a few things, get a response, get a phone number, say you want to go for a drink sometime.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10 though, they're like, and I book a time. I'm like, Tuesday 6 p.m. here.
You check your calendar first.
Yeah, I do. And that's when I'm free or whatever. And they say, oh, boo, I'm working. I'm like, okay, well, hit me up with the time. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
And, it just, if they don't respond, then it's not an issue. That's rejection in itself. So exposing ourselves to that, it's a good thing too. I don't get annoyed if someone doesn't respond to me or whatever. I just whatever, next. Even if I think she's a solid 10, I send the message, don't get a response. Yeah, I'll unmatch.
But that just shows their interest, from what they've read. Yeah. And if they're not going to message you and choose a date, then they're clearly their interest is low. Yeah. Say, we've both read some of the same content and watched some of the same content, so there's just not that burning desire there.
Yeah.
And so, sure, you can build that burning desire. Obviously, it's going to be hard to do that initially off the bat, but there has to be some of that desire to start off with. Yeah. From what both parties see. And I think, for me, mine, I don't really know if I have a similar... I look and try and gauge what energy I feel from the person. So from their photos, I like profiles that well-rounded photos and not every single one is them with 2 or 3 different girls, and then you're trying to work out which one's which. And I hate that. I now have a rule where if your first 2 photos are a group of people and there's 2 of the same people, so one of them's you and then one's one of your friends, and then that's your first 2 photos, I swipe left. Yeah. Because I don't want to sit there and try and work out who you are. My first photo is actually all my photos at the moment are just me. Yeah. I don't want to try and work out who you are. Yeah. And there's a girl that I've almost swiped on a few times, and it's the first 2 photos, the 2 same girls.
Oh, that's a point. Yeah, as you're saying.
And the third one's so that you think, oh, okay, maybe you're this one because this one's quite cute, but then then I feel really shallow saying this, but then you go, oh no,
these apps are shallow though.
Yeah, they are. And see, I'm again, the energy I feel from the person. So I may feel from the images, your friend actually has better energy than you do. And I'm more interested about that, but I can't match and then be like, hey, I actually swiped for your friend. Is she single? What's going on?
Oh, you bastard.
There is a girl, I think we matched on Tinder and I just didn't message. Her profile, actually, the last 2 photos is her friend. And she's she's also single. And if you're more interested in her, then when we match, message me and let me know and I'll give you her contact details.
Wow, okay.
Anyway, what was your point you were going to bring up?
So you're saying before, sometimes you match with the same person twice or 3 or 4 times, whatever. I've been on the apps a few times over the last couple of years when I haven't been in relationships and things like that. And there's been times where I've matched the same person and I message them and be like, oh, good to see that you're at least loyal, and they're like, ha 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 ha. And that some of them are like, oh, why? I'm like, because we've matched before. Like, oh, have we? I don't remember. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. And then see, I look at that and go, is that a good thing or a bad thing that I remember? Because is it that you've had so many matches?
They remember too.
Yeah, they just don't admit.
Yeah.
Because there's a girl. I'm hopefully catching up with her on Sunday. I'm really hoping. So if you're listening, if you're somewhere out there, please let's still catch up. No, we will. We've matched on Bumble. I think 4 times was the last time. And when I recently installed it and she come up, I swiped left on her because I was just like, I kept exiting the app so that she wasn't the one. Because I was like, I wonder if she'll swipe on me first. But and she didn't. And so we'd have a bit of a joke that we've matched like 4 times, and we never caught up. And what we've been doing is going for sunrise swims every so often.
Nice.
And she's recently had ankle surgery, and so we haven't gone for a few weeks. And then
What time you do that?
6:30 to 7 o'clock.
When are you doing that next?
Sunday morning.
You doing it with someone?
Yeah, I think the 2 of us are going, but
no, I don't want to be a third wheel. But I would be I'd be very into getting up early and doing something like that.
But I don't think she's interested in that way. Like, so which is fine. So come along.
Yeah, right. Oh, all right.
I don't know. Like, I'm sometimes horrible at reading interest, but I don't know. I messaged her the other day. I was like, oh, hey, how's your recovery?
Is it freezing?
It is freezing.
Yeah. That's cold exposure.
What it is, like what I've found though. Like
Wim Hof.
Yeah, Wim Hof. Yeah. When I went for a swim yesterday, like I struggled to get into the water and like, when it got to my nips, I was like,
yeah,
oh.
that's the issue.
And then, after like 5 minutes of being in the water and being completely wet apart from my hair, I was fine.
Yeah.
And then you eventually because I was in the water, I think 45 minutes yesterday.
Yeah.
And like last night, and it was cold.
Yeah.
Like I just eventually was starting to sting.
Yeah.
But it was so good. But yeah, it's a Sunday morning.
Yeah, cool. Possibly. Send me a message if you're still keen. Probably tomorrow night, and I'm back at work on Monday as well. So, all right. So I guess we'll wrap it up there. For anyone who's listening, if this gets shared out, do you have a quote that you live by?
I like that. Oh, you're asking me?
That you'd like to share with the people who are listening. If you were to say something to try and inspire someone to do something, what would you say?
I would say, don't let your fears stop you from doing and being who you want to be. Would be like my thing. Like, and because I've been there and I'm currently there. I'm working through getting over the fears. So that, and then the quote. Do you want my quote?
Yep.
It's quite long.
Yeah, go ahead.
So it's more of an analogy.
Yeah.
It's a way that I'm trying to focus on living life. So my current like goal with life is, and this analogy that I use is, life is like a river. If you fight against the direction that you're traveling in, you're going to get to where you're meant to be, but you're going to get there slower, and you may be a bit battered and bruised as you're fighting the current and the waves. However, if you go with the flow, whilst the journey may be bumpy at various points in time, you're going to get to where you're meant to be quicker. Yeah. And so that's sort of my, I guess, life's philosophy.
So you go with the current.
Yeah, if you go with the current. So if you don't fight it. So like, if you're trying to paddle against it because you're trying to maybe go in a different direction, then the current's still going to pull you in the direction that you're meant to be going in.
Yeah.
But you're going to be tired, you're going to be sore, you might be a bit bruised because you've like fallen out or whatever. But if you were just to sit back and just go with the flow, essentially, like sure, there might be rapids at various points in time that are quite bumpy and all of that, but you're going to get to where you want to be quicker and smoother, like in a way.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's a bit maybe a little bit deep. I like to think of myself as a bit spiritual in the sense that the universe has a plan and all that, but that's sort of the way I'm trying to live life at the moment. Just go with the flow, which is where tonight is. Like when you're like, hey, do you want to do it? I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. So this has been my very first sort of time doing something like this, and I've enjoyed myself. So I think I'm going to do a bit more, and I'll have you on again, and we can, if you've got any things you want to talk about, anything that you want to bring up and whatnot. We can make this a regular thing if you like, and hopefully we can bounce off each other and
Get some listeners in.
Yeah.
I think one on you, because I think you've got an interesting story, like in terms of your life goal to get to where you are now, and then your transition into veganism, and then the struggles that you've faced with sport, like because you played baseball at a high level, and so the struggles. I think that's something that would be good to maybe flesh out if you're comfortable with, and have that conversation.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, all right, we can do that another time. Or I might even take it upon myself and speak about that and do good solid hour. But we've gone on for 2 hours 15 minutes. That's a good amount of time. So we're going to leave it there. To everyone who made it this far, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you've watched this far. Be sure to check out Nathan's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or whatever you use, your socials. At Nathan Godwin on Instagram, NathanGodwin on Instagram. And anything else you want to say?
That's it. Thank you so much, Nick.
All right, no worries. Peace, everyone. Catch you later.
Bye.